Okay, Kelly, you're good to go at any time.
Okay, let's call this meeting to order, and we will do our roll call. Commissioner Tarbett,
Present.
Commissioner Moorhead,
I'm here.
Commissioner Case,
Here.
and our new Commissioner Sanders. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm here.
All right, and we're going to go ahead and approve our agenda for September 13th and our minutes from August 2nd. Do I have a motion to approve those?
Motion to approve the minutes.
And a second?
And can I have the motion clarified that it's approving the consent agenda? So it's approving the agenda and the minutes?
Motion
Okay.
to approve the consent agenda and the meeting minutes.
Do we have a second?
I second.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Okay, let's move on to our action agenda, and Mr. Rizzatello will present about the EDA Build Back Better grant letter of support.
Okay, thank you. So with this, I'm seeking the permission of the Economic Development Commission to allow our chair to sign a letter of support for this. Just so you're all aware of this, this is a project we're working in cooperation with the City of Walla Walla Community College, and Walla Walla University. So through the American Rescue Plan, there's actually about $3 billion that the Federal Economic Development Administration received from that to dole out for grants. One such program is this Build Back Better grant, where they're going to allow up to 60 coalitions, up to $500,000 to develop a work plan. And then of the 60, they'll pick around 30 to give implementation grants of up to 75 million per regional collaboration. So if you go to basically the Grant Management Community College Board final document, click on that, you'll see what the general proposal is. It's divvied up into several things, but basically the first one would be to bring back the trades education programs at the community college, like carpentry, electrician stuff, things of that sort. So that's number one. And then also purchase some 3D printers, because there's a concept where the Walla Walla University wants to start offering courses in 3D printed home construction, and then try to build some 3D printed homes with the technology. So that's one part of it. Another part of it is broadband to home, trying to market our area as like a telework area as well. The broadband in both cities is very hit or miss. There's some areas where it works great, like you're in College Place. I'm at City Hall right now and the internet's great. However, 3 blocks from here where I live, the internet's actually pretty horrible. So in this case, it would be looking at doing a fiber to home type project. And what that would entail would be to build dark fiber across both cities. It would be publicly owned, but then it would be leased to whoever wants to essentially use it to offer internet services. So the cost between both to cover both cities of Walla and College Place. That'd be estimated around $26 million. That was pulled from a broadband study at Port of the Walla did for the county. Now, this cost just covers both cities. The main reason is because the port put in for a dark fiber grant from Community Economic Revitalization Board that covers the unincorporated areas, but doesn't cover both cities. So they're already dealing with the rest of the county, but we're like out on our own here. So that's why we're both cities are working together to try to get some grant money to do broadband to home. The other thing is commercial kitchen. We've heard this through the farmers markets and through the food hub that is going on through a county, the fact that there isn't like a ton of commercial kitchen space. So to construct that. And then the admin costs would be for the community college for administering the grant, and then also provide some seed money for the Common Roots Land Bank. As you all may or may not be aware, there is a land trust we're trying to get set up that essentially would usher in affordable housing, hold it, construct it, and have like long-term 90-year ground leases, very similar to what goes on up in Chelan County. So this is a proposal before you. Really, there isn't much that the city would be responsible for. We're just trying to get documentation at community college that shows we're in support of it. In the community college, their staff has taken the lead developing the grant application, and then they will be the ones to submit it.
All right. Do we have any questions from any of our commissioners? No? Okay. Mike, what you need from us then is signatures, is that correct?
Yeah, signature for the letter. And Lisa, the city clerk, she has highlighted what the recommended action suggested by staff is, if you so choose to move that route for the motion.
Okay. Well, do we have a motion to accept this and proceed with this letter of support for the Better Back Grant Regional Coalition letter?
I move that we support that Build Back Better grant proposal and letter of support.
All right, is there a second?
I second.
All right, and all in agreement, say aye.
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 Okay, great. Let's move
Would you-
on to, excuse
I
me?
only heard 2 ayes. So would you say all opposed, just to make sure that there aren't any opposed before we call it passed?
Okay, and all opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the Economic Adjustment Grant with a presentation by Mr. Rizzitalo.
Okay, thank you. So this again is asking for a motion to have the commission chair sign a letter of support. Similar circumstance, the Federal Economic Development Administration received a ton of money to get grants out the door. This is another program they have for economic adjustment. It's basically to provide money to assist with infrastructure. And as you know, the big upcoming need right now is our wastewater treatment plant. So in order to keep our wastewater permit going for the whole city, we have to put dramatic upgrades over there, and that includes additional area for farming with the effluent, because we can no longer dump the treated sewage into Garrison Creek year round. We only can do it for a 6-month window now. And then we also have to build a fairly large pond out there as well. And then a bunch of equipment upgrades. So it's a very large project. The estimated total cost is around 25 million. The city has requested an earmark of 15 million in that federal infrastructure bill that keeps being debated in DC. And we're trying to put in pretty much any sort of grant funding you could think of, because really locally here, the city can only comfortably, in my opinion, come up with around 5 million. A full 25 million, that would make utility rates go crazy around here. So we really need to get grants to fill in the remainder of that. And this is one mechanism of doing that. And just as a sidebar, the forms I've been sending to several businesses about that basically ask how many people you're going to have retained for jobs or that you may hire. That's part of what EDA uses, is like a framework to see how successful their grants are. So you have to turn in ballpark numbers. So that's why that form, I mean, emailing out to a lot of the businesses is super important, because we have to turn that in with the grant. But neither here nor there. This we're just requesting that this body give motion that the commission chair can sign this letter of support, because we're trying to get this grant submitted this week, because it's first come, first serve.
Mhm. Okay, sounds like we need to get right on that. Do I have a motion so that we can sign this letter of support for this particular grant, this wastewater treatment grant?
I'll make a motion that commission chair sign the letter of support.
Okay, and do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second.
And all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, awesome. Let's move on to our reports. And that will be presented by Mr. Rizzatello.
Okay.
Kelly, I will get those letters sent out to you through DocuSign. So be looking for an email from DocuSign.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so for this flex building study, as you may recall from a couple months ago, we received a grant from the state Community Economic Revitalization Board, where they're funding a planning study of where a flex industrial building could go and what the general floor plan of it could be. Because as I think I've mentioned at past board meetings, we have a severe lack of flex industrial space in the city. And potential options is either eventually a city could develop something like this and lease out, or another option, which we've discussed with the port, is the port doing it, because the port does have industrial facilities that they lease out to everyone in Burbank, city of Walla Walla, Waitsburg. They actually have no facility here in College Place. So we are trying to have that dialogue with them about putting one here. So as you can see in the study, the recommended site is one that's zone commercial along Rose Street, which is a Guglielmelli property. And then on the screen in front of you is just a draft schematic of what buildings could look like on it. So I just am providing this to you all, because if you have any comments or questions or feedback, please let me know, so that way I can relay it.
Okay, do we have any questions or comments on that?
So Mike, this is Doug. So could this be used for low-income housing or not?
No, this Community Economic Revitalization Board grant is only to be doing floor plans and market studies for light industrial type facilities.
All right, any other questions? Okay, well, let's move on to our key infrastructure project drill downs by Mr. Rossettiello.
Okay, thank you. So I felt this was the time to just provide an update because there's a lot of very large capital projects going on right now in the city. And some of them, we have them out on the website, but the time frames change. So I'll go through a couple of the key ones. And then at the end, if you have any questions, let me know. The first one is the Southwest Sewer, and that's a project we've been working on at the construction phase really over the last year, but the engineering has been going on for about over 2 years. So as you can see with the associated material here, we've installed the gravity line through both Mike and Craig's property. That part's done. And then up College Avenue from roughly the southern extent of the high school parking lot near the northern extent of the parking lot. And then we also have the line installed at Majanier and then down Owens Road. However, there's 2 key areas that we're working on at the moment. We have one team working on Teal Lane because we have to put the pressure sewer line down that, and then also have to get the lift station going on Teal Lane. And a lot of the mechanical equipment, that's all custom equipment. As you know, there have been shortages because of COVID. So that's been leading to a lot of delays, but we're trying to get this thing teed up to wrap up by the end of the year. So that's the stuff going on the west side of the project. The east side of the project, we have 2 things going on College Avenue, basically between Cedar Bend and Majanier. That little part of the College Avenue is closed because while this road was opened up, Department of Ecology, they determined that we need to put stormwater filters where Stone Creek meets College Avenue. And those filters are special orders, so we have to wait for the filters to get there. Additionally, when they started to unearth the where the sewer was going to go near Stone Creek, they started having a bunch of cave-ins with the fill over on College Avenue between Majanier and Cedar Bend. So from what we can tell, way back when the state built College Avenue back in the day, they did not compact the fill. So a bunch of the pavement between Cedar Bend and Majanier is spalling. So we're basically going to have to recompact that area. And then also we have to demo the old lift station, which is like right behind someone's house and it goes underneath College Avenue. So I say that just to state that part between Majanier and Cedar Bend is likely going to be closed for a while longer while we recompact everything. We await the storm filters and then also demo the old lift station. So there's a lot of work going on with this project. As you can see, it's very comprehensive, but the cool thing is that once this is fully done, it opens up all that land for development, but then it also gives us a lot more sewage capacity for the entire area of College Place, south of 12th from Myra all the way over, because we were having capacity concerns, and now there are no longer capacity concerns for that part of the town. So that is Southwest Sewer. Next one is well number 6. So as you all know, since I got here, we've been trying to get our system back up where it used to be. So we had 2 wells that failed about 5 years ago. So for quite a long period of time, the city was relying on 1.5 wells with City of Walla Walla, where City of Walla Walla helped us from time to time. A year ago, we installed a new well at Pepper's Bridge, which definitely gives us a lot better capacity. Now we're getting a third well installed up at Whitman and Maple. So you can see the draft timeline on this. So right now we have the bids out to get a contractor to actually build the well house and source the equipment. And the plan is that by next summer, this new well will be fully functional, and it's over by the east side tanks, and that'll catch us up to where we used to be. And that'll give us a very good efficient system. So that's well 6. That's that project. Lions Park. Just so you're all aware of that one, is you all may or may not know, we've received 3 state RCO grants and then a Sherwood Trust grant to completely remodel the park. Most of the construction will be happening next year, but right now the engineer Anderson Perry, they're doing the preliminary park layout and all the final engineering. So that is going on, and we're positioning this so we can go full-on construction next summer. And that'll include a walking path, splash pad, inclusive play equipment, multi-use field, which will replace the softball field, which we've had maintenance issues with, and it'll just make a really nice park. So that is the Lions Park project, and the last one is the 4 Bikes project. Now, 4 Bikes project, that is actually going to renovate 4th Street from Davis to College Avenue. The cycle track that exists along 4th from Davis to Academy Way, that'll be extended to College Avenue. But then as part of the project, we're going to put new sidewalks in, and then also put in pedestrian street lamps similar to College Avenue. And the pedestrian street lamps will go on the south side of 4th from College all the way to Academy Way. So they'll make a really nice streetscape. So what we're positioning this for is engineering is fully done. This is funded by a TIB grant from the state. And we expect that we will advertise for contractors in January. So we hopefully get lower bid prices and get this going for very early spring construction. But that is the 4 Bikes project. So those are a couple of the key infrastructure projects that are going on now. Is there any questions?
No, I think this sounds pretty exciting. I'm very much looking forward to getting these projects done. If there are no questions or comments, we'll move on to our Public Works Board Trust Fund Loan Construction Plans and Nuns Construction List presented by Mr. Rossetto.
Okay, thank you. Just providing an update on more grants and financing we have received to build up our infrastructure systems, just so you have an awareness to it. So Public Works Trust Fund, this last go around for funding, we were very successful. We actually received funding for 4 capital projects. So all 4 we put in requests for, we received funding for. So I'll just go through them so you're aware of it. So we're going to be working on a 4th new well so to build up our capacity, because compared to other cities our size, we really don't have the amount of holes in the ground that most do. City of Cheney, for instance, they have 8 drinking water wells. Even once we get this 4th one built, we'll only be up at number 4. So we end up getting funding for about $1.5 million to go build a new well. And that'll be over on the property where we have the wastewater lift station at, because we have the smallest amount of property we were able to buy was about 5 acres. Lift station only needed an acre, so there's additional property out there that we can purpose. And the concept is to go put a new well out there, and we're trying to position the wells where they all aren't in the same area, because those 2 wells that failed were on the same street. And the problem is that we had the wells all in line with each other, and there was some sort of shift in the ground where it basically sheared 2 of the well shafts where we could no longer use them. So by positioning them in different parts of town, we hope to eliminate that threat. So a new well will be over there. We're going to put in some new water mains near Sky and Mountain View area, because right now the water mains go behind people's homes and it's a pain to get to. We're going to move it to the street. And then also replace lift station number 5, which is this lift station. It looks like it's in a coffee can almost in the middle of a sidewalk on Southwest First between Davis and Academy. So we got 1.6 million for that. And then pre-construction, we want to start engineering for elevated water tanks. So like a large 1 million gallon one, like similar like what City of Richland has out on State Route 240, or Benton City has. They have a large one like that. So the concept is to do engineering for a 1 million gallon tank that we could put on the bluff at the treatment plant that'll allow us to essentially hold water and be able to provide better flows for south part of the town near Majanier, as well as north section near Martineer Field, since we have a bluff over there. And then the other grant we received is we end up getting a state community development block grant for about another $364,000. And we'll be able to put new sidewalks in on Southwest 6th from College of Davis, and then Southwest 8th from Bade to College. So I'll take any questions, but this is just an update on a couple of key projects going on.
Good update. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Ciatello. Let's move on to our events update with Ms. Niesel.
Hi, so as you probably know, we've only got 2 farm markets left in the season, this Thursday and next Thursday. So try and encourage everybody to come out and support the markets. The next event that we have coming up is going to be our fall event. We've previously called it the Fall Fest. However, this year we are reimagining it as Autumn on the Avenue. And here's our new logo. I'm trying to get it where you can see everything. Our new deputy clerk, who unfortunately is leaving us to stay home. She's done a lot of graphic design work for us. So right now I don't have a lot of details regarding the Autumn on the Avenue event, just because we're unsure what all we will be able to do with the COVID restrictions, with the counts rising. It's too far in advance to make determination for sure which things we'll be able to do and which we won't. I'm guessing we will be eliminating the maze and the face painting, but hopefully we can still have some sort of COVID-friendly activities. We'll be on the Friday before Halloween, so October 29th from 3 to 6 p.m. on College Avenue. We encourage the businesses to hand out candy and participate, and then we'll have vendors up the fire station lane again this year. That is our hope, to be determined based upon COVID regulations.
Okay. All right, any questions or comments on that from anybody?
And I guess I should add that we also just got a design completed on the with this logo for banners that will go up along College Avenue. So I'll be ordering those this week.
I like that logo. I think it looks real good.
Yeah, very nice. Thanks, Nikki.
Oh, and one thing I'll add as well is I just got off the phone earlier today with our firework provider, and they basically allowed us to just carry over what we paid for like Freedom Festival, where they're gonna honor that and do the fireworks under what we paid them for that for Winterfest. So that'll be straightforward as well. And we're going to try to do something tied to the anniversary of the city. We're just thinking of what, because as you all know, last year was the 75th anniversary of the city existing and being incorporated, but COVID messed up our plans on that one. So we're trying to think what we're going to do for Winterfest. A couple of other things we're doing is I know Mike Dungy is trying to get the book complete, which will be a historical book about the whole history of College Place. And then P1FCU, they volunteered to pay for more traffic wraps. So we're getting contracts out for the final 7 artists to cover more of the traffic boxes with our around the community. And we're trying to get that done by Winterfest, so that way the last 7 boxes are wrapped.
Wonderful. All right. So if we don't have any questions on any of the events, let's move on to our development tracker presented by Mr. Rizzatello.
Okay, thank you. And I'll just cover ones where there have been changes or new ones. So Project CK, that's a gas station concept. They're still reviewing the sites over at 12th and Myra and looking into that. Project Chocolate is a company from Puget Sound looking to relocate, and there is some interest in some of the outlets around Half Thief. So there continues to be dialogue with the management company that owns Meadowbrook Plaza and then the end user. Project Dominic is an existing retailer in the valley. It's potentially looking to move over onto the Myra Road corridor, so we continue to have discussions with them. Project HM is more of like a quick coffee provider, and they are still looking at doing a drive-through facility on College Avenue near 9th, and would cater more toward the afternoon crowd. Project FM, that is a general merchandiser. They're still investigating the Stone Creek area property that's going to be over on College Avenue south of Majanier, that'll essentially open up for development once the infrastructure is extended out there. Project BK, I can say what that is now because they've turned in their final plans. That's the Burger King that is coming here, and that's going to break ground next to Aspen Dental, and they're getting all of their final permits filed and ready to go. So that's happening. Project W&D, those are, well, one of them's fast food provider, other one's a sit down restaurant. They're still looking at our area. It's just COVID has freaked them out a little bit. And then with Project D, that still is tied to the Myra Road intersection, I would say turning into a traffic circle where we would get the left turn lane onto Commercial Drive, because they're waiting to see that happen. And then Project Flight, that is, out at Martin Airfield. And the company that owns that is Terragang, owned by Mr. Corliss. They've petitioned to change that area into a light industrial airport zoning overlay district where it will allow a combination of airport uses, some light industrial that's connected to airport uses, and then some residential up on the bluff. So we continue to work with them on what that will be. I mean, the airport's going to be safe. They're definitely committed to keeping the airport as an airport. The question's going to be what's around it per se. And all the land that comprises the airport, while it's not in the city, it is in our urban growth area. And in order to connect utilities out there, they would need to annex. Other projects, Goodwill, we had the groundbreaking last month. That was great. They're pouring the footings for the foundation and they're moving full steam ahead. So that's great news. So we believe that likely that'll be positioned to be opened up by the spring. Project 8 is a mixed use development on the 8th and College site, which is the field. It's just a field right now. We believe that's going to end up being a mixed use structure. And then Project Medical is Commercial Drive on one of the outlots, and that would be a urgent care facility. It's a medical provider. It doesn't function in the valley currently, but they have an interest in essentially operating out here. So they are turning in final plans, and that looks to be going full steam ahead as well. On the residential front, Homestead, they basically have built all their homes up on top of the bluff. Now they're starting to work on turning in the plans for wise size homes, which are smaller homes, smaller affordable homes. And they will essentially be on the vacant land that's just to the east of Dones near the detention pond. So we're working through that. Villages of Fort Walla development, which is supposed to go behind Home Depot on the western part of that vacant property. I believe it still will eventually happen. However, there's some litigation issues going on between the previous landowner and this developer, so stay tuned on that. Country Estates, which is the manufactured housing park off of Larch at Scenic View. They are working on getting 7 manufactured homes on the site where the old Poor Farmhouse used to be. So that continues. Sermon Development, that is a large apartment complex. It's going to go off of Spitzenberg, just across the street from Wenzel Nursery. There was some site plan issues. They've now worked through that. So I expect that this will break ground soon because they're making good headway on that. Stone Creek Development, that's a vacant property to west of College Avenue. There is very good discussions going on with Craig Christensen, who owns the west, basically the west 2/3 of all that property, and then a developer out of Spokane that actually does not currently operate out here, and they're very interested in doing so. So it looks like they're close to making a deal happen for the Stone Creek development. And then Hanby, those are the apartments up on top of the hill at College Avenue. That continues to be constructed, which is great. Project Wallula, that is a development concept for cottage housing for the developmentally disabled. They're interested in some vacant land off of Wallula, where some of it's in our UGA, but a lot of it isn't. So we're going to have to pressure the county to give us more urban growth area to actually make that happen. Otherwise, we can't extend utilities to it. And then Whispering Creek, that's the Dan Priest subdivision off of 8th Street, somewhat near Lions Park. Homes continue to be constructed out there at a pretty good pace as well. So that's going on. So that right there is a summary of all the leads and projects currently underway.
All right, do we have any questions or comments on that presentation?
I had one quick question, Mike, about the property out at Martin Airfield. Has the county expressed a willingness to rezone and to be flexible on that?
That they seem that they're flexible to it. Our big concern is it sounds like they would like to, the end user wants additional land out there put in our UGA, which we wouldn't have any objection to if it didn't count against us for like the State Route 125 corridor, because we have quite a bit of infrastructure out there, which I mean, we needed regardless to actually have more water supply, but we see our future to the southwest. So, I mean, we aren't against it, but what it really boils down to is the county needs to adjust their planning policies, because right now all of the incorporated areas are all frozen to the percentage of the overall county population they were back in 1993, which is pretty crazy. So that needs to be adjusted as such. I mean, if they adjust it, we wouldn't see no issue with Martin Airfield. It's just it can't count against the whole city, though, because of the limited vacant land we have in town.
Understood.
All right, any other questions or comments? Okay, shall we move on to our closing items and rescheduling our next meeting?
Yep.
Okay, it looks like that Mr. Rizzatello will be out of the office, so the next meeting will be on October 11th.
Yeah, it'll need to be October 11th because usually I can't go to the national city manager conferences because they're always all over the place. And this is the first time since I lived in the Northwest, it's actually nearby in Portland. So I'm going to that.
Good for you. Nice. Nice. Okay. Well, if we have no further comments, do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
To adjourn the meeting.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
And all in favor, say aye.
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 I
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.